I'm currently active duty military, and I'm trying to figure out in the next 4 years and I'm trying to get out in the next 4 years. In order to do that, I need to be well off financially. How can I start with little or no capital? Military doesn't pay much. I've been doing my due diligence and reading all I can, but I assume I just don't know what I don't know because I can't seem to find the answer I'm looking for online. Additionally, I understand the economic foundation can be changed with something like the beer bug. I don't know what that is. Are there certain areas that are better than others for real estate investing? My goals initially are to have more cash flow. So after this question, there was another answer that basically said, with people more experienced that were in military, that said, the military pays a fair wage and you should be able to get started in military with this wage. So assuming, again, that this guy makes enough to get started, a lot of people said you need to take a hard look at your expenses. I don't know. I'm not in the military. I don't know what they pay. Had to do stuff with taxes, but I'm just throwing that out there as a disclaimer. I'm going to kind of take the military component out of it. But are there certain areas that will be better for others than real estate investing? So when you're looking to get started, and that's kind of what this question is again, of like looking to get started, if you don't know where to start, you've got to go out and look up as many different ways to get started in real estate investing as you can. So that's look up, 15 different asset classes, 10 different asset classes, and look at 5 different ways to get started investing in that asset class. For example, if you want to talk about multifamily, there is small multifamily, there's, medium size, there's large multifamily, there's garden style, there's urban style. You can talk about debt positions. You can talk about equity positions. You can talk about preferred equity positions. You could be an active investor. You can be a passive investor. You can look for, heavily distressed multifamily. You can look for stable/turnkey multifamily properties. You can look for, luxury. There's all different niches and styles within every different asset class. You have to go in, figure out all different ways to do it, understand the pros and cons of each, and then figure out what works best for you. So when he's saying, my goals are to have more cash flow, my guess is the idea of cash flow is great. However, in reality, to have cash flow that makes a significant difference, most people, you need to have capital to make a significant amount of cash flow. If you have $100,000, let's say, which is a large amount for a lot of people, if you made 10%, that's $10,000 a year. I don't think $10,000 in cash flow to anybody is changing anybody's life. And 10% is a really good return for your money. And a lot of people are going to say, well, you can build up cash flow creatively through different financing structures and things like that. One, you already know I don't like that. Two, if you're making, let's just say you're making $100,000 in cash flow on no money out of pocket, you're sitting on equity that's in that property that's technically capital. So in a roundabout way, you're still making a percentage on that capital, because the way you would look at it is, if I sold these properties, how much capital would I get? And if I went out and reinvested it, what return would I make? You would get a certain amount of capital back. Let's say those properties, returned you just $1 million or $500,000. You were making whatever percentage you were on those properties. Good chance it's going to be way lower than you think. So if you somehow built it up to $100,000 in cash flow, you're probably sitting on a ton of capital you built up, a ton of equity you built up over time. You don't just mystically make $100,000 without having capital. So I think the problem a lot of people have when they're starting out is cash flow is great, but for me, it requires a lot of capital. You can make more than 10% cash flow on a property, maybe 12, maybe 15, especially if you get into less populated areas or other assets like self-storage or mobile home parks, or, I guess technically, fix and flips, you're making cash flow, but they're so short, they're not really cash flow oriented. You can make double-digit returns, but even if you made 20% and you want to make $100,000 a year, that's $500,000. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. So I think people tend to underestimate how much capital is needed to get a significant amount of cash flow that it makes a difference. That's why a lot of earlier investors are looking for quicker turnaround deals, flips, wholesale, distressed opportunities where you can get in, put your money to work, get the value up, offload it, and quickly build up a nest egg and then invest that for more cash flow driven opportunities. So if you're looking for that, how to get started, I think you need to understand more opportunities, go out and research, go on Bigger Pockets, listen to podcasts, watch videos like this if you're so inclined, and understand how many different ways there are to get involved. Figure out the pros and cons, the risk and rewards. Figure out one you think you would like, try it, understand it, and then either continue or change, and then just kind of build up some capital and then eventually put it to work and build up that cash flow.